years. I suggest that everybody get on board and let's do everything we can to save him. We both knew that my life was in God's hands. Like me, Mary believed that God had plans for my life and that our faith would get us through. We just weren't quite sure how. But I had braved numerous storms in my life and had frequently faced overwhelming odds, times when others had advised me to give up. I hadn't quit then, and I wasn't about to quit now. Chapter 2. A Troubled Youth. "Get up on this horse, Randy," Daddy urged me. An unusually skillful horse trainer, my dad taught the horse to kneel down on its front knees so I could climb into the saddle. I scrambled to place my foot into one of the stirrups and threw my leg over the beautiful animal as Daddy took a photograph. With a slight nudge from Daddy, the horse rose majestically to his full height. I was 3 years old, and I felt as though I were on top of the world. I've always wanted to be a cowboy. From the time I was born as Randy Bruce Trawick, on May 4th, 1959, in Nashville, North Carolina, a small town with a population of approximately 3,000 people, located about a half-hour's drive southeast of Charlotte, I had felt comfortable atop a horse. Thanks to Daddy's profession, all my family members were as at home riding a horse as we were riding in a car. I was one of 6 kids in the Trawick household. My mama, Bobby Trawick, was a quiet, brown-eyed, dark-haired beauty with an angel's heart. Mama worked in a textile mill that made potholders. She was a salt-of-the-earth sort of woman who felt it was her mission to have children, so she and Daddy had 6 of us within 10 years. My brother Ricky is the oldest, 13 months older than me. I'm second in line, followed by Rose in 1961, David in 62, Sue in 64, and our youngest brother Dennis in 68. Our dad, Harold Trawick, was a tall, lean man who worked in construction but also raised beef cows on our property and trained horses. At one point, we had as many as 20 or 30 horses, so I grew up working with them and the other animals. Part of my chores every morning involved pitching hay for the horses and cleaning out the stalls with my brothers. That could be a bit of an adventure sometimes. In our teen years, my younger brother David grew a marijuana plant right outside the stables. He nurtured that plant, watered it, and watched it grow to nearly 4 feet high. No doubt he was planning to enjoy a number of homegrown highs. What he didn't realize, though, was that his marijuana plant had grown high enough that one of our horses could stick his neck out of the back stable window and nibble on it. Once he started, the horse chomped down that entire plant. When we went to clean out his stable the next morning, that poor horse's front legs were crossed, and he was leaning over precariously to one side. He slumped over in a stupor, stoned out of his mind, and stayed that way for 3 days before he finally sobered up and could walk straight. I should have learned a lesson from that horse about the effects of marijuana, but I didn't. Not then, anyway. I loved riding horses, even in the snow. When it snowed, which was always a big deal for kids in the Carolinas, my 3 brothers and 2 sisters and I, along with any cousins that might show up, would tie a sled behind one of the horses and use the horse to pull us up the hill. Dragging a sled behind a horse could be dangerous, which for a kid made it all the more fun. When I was growing up, one of my favorite people in the world was my grandmother, Etta Davis Trawick. We all called her Gaga. One of our older cousins couldn't quite say the word grandma, and every time she tried, what came out of her mouth sounded like Gaga, so the name stuck. We had a Lady Gaga long before anyone else. Gaga lived right next door to us, and she was a pistol with a great sense of humor. She was a fabulous cook, too, and every year our entire family gathered at Gaga's house for Christmas dinner, complete with turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, corn, and plenty of desserts. At other times, Gaga prepared steaks or a big roast, and the whole family showed up to eat. As sweet as Gaga was, Daddy was just the opposite. Our dad was a man of contradictions. He could be tough as nails or soft as mush, depending on when you talked with him and how much he'd had to drink. The trouble was that Daddy liked to drink, a lot. And when he did, he turned violent, threatening people, fighting with others, breaking furniture, and shooting at anything that got in his way. Fortunately, he never actually shot any people, but he came close. For most of my early life, my siblings and I were afraid of Daddy, and I'm pretty sure